Yay Media Group.
Ay. If it's not one thing, it's another, you know?
But that's life with kids.
That's life, period.
Yeah.
You know?
Hopefully next recording we have good news.
Oh my goodness. When are we going to do a recording about laughing and having fun?
Hey guys, episode 211. So last episode, if you listened, we were talking about me being sick and everything. So we're going to open with this because this has just been a week. Leighton, you all know, was sick, and I got sick from him. Well, he was fine. Sunday, he came up to me, and he's like, Mom, it hurts when I walk, and I got these red...
No, yesterday. Monday.
Today's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I keep thinking...
I know, because of Martin Luther King.
I'm sorry, my days are mixed up.
Everybody's is. Today felt like such a Monday at work. I was like, man, it's Monday, but it's Tuesday.
Okay, well, I told that wrong. I'm sorry. So it was Monday, and Leighton was playing with the neighbors. He came over to me, and I was outside, and he said, I got these red bumps on me, and I can't walk. My feet hurt. And I look at him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, your feet are so swollen. And he had hives all over him. And then I've never dealt with this after my kids have been sick and then someone getting the hives from having a virus. So this is a first for me. So I started freaking out because I thought, oh my goodness, what if he's having an allergic reaction to something that I don't know that he's allergic to? So I told Lawson to stay with my neighbor, and she's also a nurse. So I had her come check Leighton, and she was, I know, I feel so bad.
No, just because the last episode we were bagging on like peanut allergies and doctors. And now we're like, oh man, is he allergic to peanuts? Let's go see a doctor.
Exactly. So my neighbor was like, you know what? You should just go get him checked with hives. And she said exactly what it was. She goes, I think it's from this virus, but go get checked out.
Because her son had the same thing earlier or last year.
Right.
Yeah.
And so in the car, I keep looking at Leighton. I'm like, can you breathe? You can breathe, right? And so I'm driving Jeff's car, which I'm not comfortable with. So I felt so weird. And I was trying to get to the children's urgent care. So I get there and they were like, oh, his knees are so swollen and his ankles and everything. They were like, we can't see him at urgent. He needs to go to the ER and we want to have him just examined, checked over. So we go in the ER and they give him Zyrtec. Am I saying that right? Mm-hmm. Zyrtec and Benadryl. And then we just had to wait and observe and see everything. But poor thing, it was just spread all over him. Then today, so we leave the ER. We were there for a while. Jeff brought him McDonald's. He was so happy. He thought he was so cool because they put him in a wheelchair because we were in the furthest room. And Leighton's like, that was so fun. And the whole time when they gave him Benadryl and he's all drowsy, he goes, don't forget to ask him if I can ride in a wheelchair on the way out. And I was like, well, we got to save that for the other kids who need it. But he was very excited about it. So today, when he woke up, he was swollen. And I took him back to the doctor's office just to make sure he was okay. And they looked him over because he has new spots that have spread. And I was just kind of like panicking. But they were like, it's totally normal. Like he's going to get different spots. The only time you need to be worried is if those spots turn purple. That's what she told me. So if this has ever happened to you, it's been a week, man. I had a massive panic attack last night at like 1:30. I slept in the bed with Leighton. It woke me up out of my sleep. I was sweating. I was laying on the floor, like trying to breathe. I was like, I'm not going to wake Jeff up. I'm not dying. You are not dying. You are just stressed out right now. And you were worried about Leighton. Nothing is wrong with you. And I just kept saying it. But because I had that massive panic attack, my back today, my shoulders, my arms, because you get so tense, so sore.
It hurts like I feel like I know what you're saying.
Pumping weights.
Yeah, you're just so stressed out, you're tense.
Yes.
Like in your trap muscles in your back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But What a night.
I know. And he hasn't been at school. That's what I feel bad. He hasn't been at school all last week. They had Monday off. He wasn't there today. So maybe tomorrow he could go back. But I just feel bad missing that much school. But then I don't want to send my kid to school because I don't like when the rash isn't contagious. And he's not sick anymore. But I don't like when I get daycare's super expensive. Everything's super expensive. But I don't like when parents send their kids to school when they have the means to keep them home, just because it's just so rampant, all this like sickness going around and things, So I don't know what the right answer is. He's got to go back to school at some point, obviously, but you don't want him. Yeah.
Teacher, and she was so nice about it. My only concern is his feet get so swollen. I asked the doctor today, I was like, can I send him to school tomorrow? I was like, because he's missed a lot. And she goes, well, it's all about comfort. She was like, is his feet going to bother him? His knees still are swollen. So I'm hoping tonight that the swelling goes down in his knees and that his feet go down.
It just got to run its course.
Yeah. So, and that's what they said. They were like, because I asked her, I said, when is this going to be over? And she goes, I can't tell you. She goes, it could be a week or two.
Yeah, you freaked me out because I went to IKEA yesterday because Lawson needed a new bookshelf and I was just doing projects around the house. So I went to go get him the new bookshelf. Then I found a plant there. I had all this stuff. Then I got myself like a Diet Coke. And I was like, I had this big, whatever you call those things,
cart?
IKEA, like a cart, but like a flatbed cart, and this thing was like 10 feet long and 100 pounds. So my cart kept going that way and you kept calling me and I was trying to go in the elevator. I'm like, what is going on? So I'm outside the elevator with this giant thing. I'm like, there's a big plant in my face. I'm like, you guys go. I'm like, what's up? You're like, Leighton's in the hospital. I'm like, what? What's going on?
I'm taking Leighton to urgent care.
I know, but it scares you, like when I'm like, I just left the house an hour ago. What happened?
I don't know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, how did this happen? You were fine. He's been playing. He was at our neighbor's house. They were outside playing for like 2 hours.
Ay. If it's not one thing, it's another, But
that's life with kids.
That's life, period.
Yeah.
But yeah. So everything's, I guess, okay.
Yeah, hopefully next recording we have good news.
Oh my goodness. When are we going to do a recording about laughing and having fun?
I know.
Man.
Well, listen, y'all, I know sometimes on here we have episodes and we're laughing and having fun and you guys are like, oh my gosh, it's so fun listening to you. And there's other times it's like serious. I mean, we don't sugarcoat things on here and we keep things. This podcast is basically our life and everything we're going through. And it's not the picture perfect Instagram that you're going to see. So I do read the comments. I know sometimes people are like, oh my God, it's not fun to listen to you guys, or why are you guys hate each other, or this, that, and other. And it's like, no, this is life. This is what we're going through. We're not sugarcoating it. We have our good days. We have our bad days. We have our stuff with our kids.
I think everybody does. I think
everyone does.
All you see now on TV and social media is extremes in everything. And then nobody just wants to hear a moderate, this is just what life is everyday point of view. You know what I mean? It's got to be extreme. Like, oh my God, my sex life is so cry. It's like everything's got to be so.
I have sex 5 times a day.
Yeah. And this thing was in my butt for a week. It's like, dude, get real. That's not real. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. This is life. There's ups and downs. We don't put out like grand things on social media to make it look like our life is great. I'm sure everybody could relate, even though if you want your life to be like that, it's great to have goals and aspirations, but life is always going to hit you in the face, always, whether it's health or that's the worst part. But I mean, a flat tire, somebody cutting you off, somebody you don't agree with, somebody got you mad on Facebook. Life's hard. You just got to roll with the punches. That's what the adversity and happiness is all about, finding that balance, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's been a rough week.
It has. And we're getting through it. We're getting back into our routine.
Yeah.
I feel like, does anybody ever feel like this? Whenever, like if you have your medicine cups, your measuring cups out and you've cleaned them and you have them drying and then you put them up, someone else gets sick. I feel like that always happens. So I leave the medicine cups out longer. The measuring cups?
For the kids.
Yeah. I leave them out longer because I feel like if I leave them out longer, that means Lawson's not going to get sick. But if I put it up too early, then I feel like it all goes downhill.
You're crazy.
Really?
Well, I mean, everyone has their superstitions, but
I totally think that. Every time, I swear, every time I put it up and I'm clean, I'm like, all right, I sanitize the house. Everything's good. Then the next person gets taken down.
Life.
Today, I wanted to do some voicemails.
Okay, I don't know how many
I think we have one. And what is the number? Hang on, I gotta look, guys. Oh, we have 4. We have 4 voicemails. All right, so we're gonna get started on voicemails.
All right, let's take a quick little breaky and we'll come back and do voicemails.
Okay.
All right, so the hustle and bustle of the holidays, it's over and it's time to get back to real life. And you heard us talk about Hungry Root before, because in 2026, it's all about making life simple for us.
I love Hungry Root because it simplifies our life. Leighton has basketball now, kids in school, homework, studying, all of that. Hungry Root keeps us on track with all of our healthy eating and easy to make meals.
Yeah. Jordan and I have tried different meal kits in the past, but what I love about Hungry Root the most is the variety that they have to offer. There's something for everybody. I'm more on the carnivore diet. This time of year, I try all different diets throughout the year, and Hungry Root has something for everybody's dietary needs.
Hungry Root helps you stick with your New Year's resolutions. For me, it's dieting. Right now, doing no carbs, no sugar, but it's helping me get to my goals.
We want to simplify things in 2026. And all the running around with the kids in school and sports and work, it's difficult to have a meal together and take the time to prep it and cook it yourself. Hungry Root has it delivered right to your door. They make it easy. You put it in your cart, you hit send, and the next thing you know, it shows up at your doorstep.
Hungry Root also holds all of its food to high standards, screening out over 200 additives. You're going to love Hungry Root as much as we do. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/togetherness. Use code Togethermess. That's hungryroot.com/togetherness. Code Togethermess.
To get 40% off your first box plus a free item of your choice for life. That's hungryroot.com/togetherness.
Welcome back. All right, this one I'm assuming is for Jeff. It says, the Bears.
Oh.
Do you want to talk about that?
I didn't. I almost broke dry January because of the Bears. They made me so sad.
You honestly were going to cry.
It was like kind of like I was hurt in my heart. I felt like I broke up with somebody.
Okay, wait. That's been a very long time since you broke up with somebody.
I was sad.
It was a great game.
It was a great season. I don't know if you guys watch football or interested at all. I love my Chicago Bears. They had a great year. I can't be sad at all. It was insane. It was insane.
And I don't know. I thought they were going to win when he did that.
I thought it was destiny. I was like, there's no way we're losing now.
I know. But I saw a video on Instagram of when the game was over, everybody was standing up and clapping for the Bears, and I kind of got emotional
because it was a great season. Like, we found our quarterback again. You guys probably don't watch football, but some of you do. Caleb Williams is the real deal. If you are into football, I don't think that last pass, he did throw 3 interceptions. But listen, all in all, it was a great season. It was
snowing.
We had 7 come from behind victories in the fourth quarter. It was such a fun season to watch. It was so great. And the Broncos are still in it as of now. So I still have someone to cheer for, but it was a great football season. We're down to the Final Four.
Do you know, you're not really on Instagram a lot, but have you seen that trend? Like 2016 is the new 2026.
Oh, yeah, I have. What do you do?
Just people are showing their flashbacks of like 2016, and it gives me like all the feels because it goes back.
Did you do it?
No, I didn't.
Why?
Because I got kicked out of my Facebook or something, and all my photos are on there, and I don't have that many. Well, actually, I could go back on old Instagram photos and see. All the pictures I have in my camera roll are being pregnant in 2016 because that's when I found out with Lawson.
Oh, yeah.
But it was just, I felt like when Instagram was so fun and like it was.
But it's all what your algorithm is.
People were wearing choker. I don't think there were stories then. I think it was just in feed posts. I could be wrong. Maybe there were stories, but just seeing other people that I don't personally know, but I like their accounts and I have been following them for 10 years and being like, oh my gosh, I remember those posts. And like this one fitness girl I follow, and she posted this one old throwback photo. And I was like, I remember that photo that she posted. That was like my inspiration. Like, I don't know, like when I was pregnant, like, oh, I want to get back to that, because in 2015, that was like the best shape I was ever in. And that was like my motivation. I would look at like fitness people, and she was somebody I followed, and I still follow her to this day because I like her content. And now she's got 2 kids, and you just feel like you know these people.
I feel like that's what's wrong with me? I feel like that's how our audience feels about us. Our audience.
Are you a pirate?
I talk all day.
I know. Well, it's just, I don't know. I just like the throwbacks. It just like makes me happy, but it's just like brings me back to being pregnant. But I didn't know.
Well, you should.
That. I know. I should have. But okay, let's do, I don't even know why.
You know what my algorithm is, real quickly, while we were talking about that? I only go on like Instagram late at night when like everyone's kind of asleep and I'm bored, and I'll just go on there, you know? Have you heard of the Sardine diet?
So, ooh, like fish?
Yeah, like what I'm not starting to learn, but it's like so I'm looking at like healthy recipes and stuff on there, or I'll take one of my weed gummies at night, you know, like 5 milligrams to help me sleep, but I do kind of get giggly, you know? So I'll watch like funny videos. So it's either like scaring videos, like people pranking each other, or like diet. You know what I mean? Or like recipes. But there's this thing now whenever I go on Instagram, it's always this sardine diet. And it's like all you eat for 3 days is sardines.
Oh, I would vomit.
And they're saying all these benefits from it. I'm like,
would you ever do that?
I've been wanting to do a 3-day fast, just a 72-hour fast. So that's one of my goals I'm going to do in this New Year's, because I've never done one. And I've heard so many amazing benefits from like fasting. I don't know about a sardine fast. Maybe that'll be later on in the year. But after dry January, like we were talking earlier, I like to challenge myself like once a month. So the next month, I think it's just a 3-day fast, but it's hard not to eat for 3 days, but it's supposed to like restart your immune system, and it like kills cancerous cells in your body. I've been doing like a lot of research about that.
Wasn't it you, or is this some other guy I follow that did a 40-day fast?
40 days?
Yeah, there was somebody that did like 40 days. It was something insane. I just saw it. Or was that you telling me that?
I don't know. In like, is it like Ethiopia or something? They like totally go hard on that stuff. But it's like an old ancient, like,
yeah, they say it's
remedy.
like
it goes way really
back. Good for your body to do that. I wish I could fast like that, but I can't.
But I see like videos of like exactly, and they're all pretty much the same. That's like my algorithm now. I don't get into fighting stuff and like if, do you know how many people I've muted? I don't even know if I follow a lot of people, but I don't know if I see any of the people I follow because I've muted everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just don't want, I didn't mute everybody. I still follow people that inspire me and my friends and things like that. But like secondary friends, you know, that are like, I met you and I'll follow you one time and you're just posting shit to get like clickbait, mute. I don't want that in my life. I don't want the negativity. I don't want your opinion on what's going on in the world. So a lot of people are mute. So my algorithm is helping me. It's like healthier stuff or funnier stuff or like behind the scenes video or motivational stuff. So I use it as that tool, not to go on there and get pissed off.
Everything we talk about on this podcast, I'll start getting stuff pop up on my phone.
You're going to get the sardine diet.
Exactly.
But I'd like to talk to somebody who actually did it. But I'm going to start with the regular fast. But it walks you through like after this many hours, this is what you're going to feel like, fatigued, and then energy kicks in. And then
we did one fast, Prolon.
Yeah, Prolon.
Prolon's a good fast.
Actually, if you're looking to do a fast, and this isn't like an ad, Prolon was one of our sponsors. I don't know if they still are. But anyways, if you're looking to do a fast, it's a fast, but you still get to eat on it. So it's like soups and different things like that.
I can do that.
So that's a good way to start if you're not going to do it. Because I tried to fast one time when we were in California. That's how long ago it was. And after like a day and a half, I was dying. I was like, dude, I got to eat something. And I called Eric, our Big E. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm on this fast. And he's like, yeah, you don't do that unless you prepared for it. And I'm like, no problem. And I already made a sandwich and I ate it like while I was talking to him. I'm like, I had to eat something. But I'm going to try it for like because I just heard so many benefits about it. So I'd like to talk to somebody more.
So if you do a fast like that, do they tell you how much you'll lose?
I mean, you're going to lose weight, but you could still drink like water. You could still drink like black coffee. You could still drink electrolytes. You know, you still have to have liquids, but no food, no food and sugar, obviously. Because
it cleans your There was something else I saw about it cleans your toxins, but I forgot what it was called. I was kind of looking into that.
And then another one that I always pops up. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but another thing, did you ever hear of soaking your feet in peroxide for like 10 to 20 minutes?
I just saw this on Instagram.
Yeah, that's what my feed is now, like all health stuff.
But I don't know what's legit.
But dude, why not? I feel like, I don't know why. I feel like there's cures in peroxide because it's so cheap, right? Hydrogen peroxide so cheap, and baking soda.
You brush your teeth with hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah, I brush it with hydrogen peroxide. That's why we have it. But what
happened if you swallowed it?
I don't know. Nothing.
Oh.
Or something. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I watch these little stupid videos. They brought a sardine diet. I don't even know if that works. Isn't there a lot of, and I was like, isn't there a lot of mercury in sardines? That's what I was worried about. Like from the fish.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. Cause it's not good.
I guess the guys I was watching are like, there's not enough in there, but then I've seen other things like don't.
But then again, the carnivore diet, people say it's not good for cholesterol.
Yeah. And that's what I'm on. So I just everything works for different people.
Right.
You know what I mean? So whatever works for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for me. I like to just dabble and see what works the best and be like, all right, well, this is just my opinion. It might not work for you, but that's what it does for me. And I like to see how I feel the best, because I'm getting older. It's like, what feels good? What gives me the most energy,
But you always feel good. I feel like you're always on the go, but you take your supplements, you take all your you're pretty healthy.
But I feel like, because of dry January, I'm not getting bogged down on the weekends and being lazy and eating chips. So I do feel like I have more energy, just not drinking and doing stuff every day and being on the go. But I want to see these other silly remedies. I'm going to soak my feet in peroxide and see if I feel good. I do. I think
all you have to do is put eucalyptus on your feet. And then help
since that comes in, better? Yeah, it's supposed to relax you. And I heard all toxins come out through your foot.
Yes.
Is this real? I don't know what's real anymore. I don't know what's happening.
We need somebody to come coach us.
Yeah, you know what? We should get somebody on here and talk about fasting and crazy grandma recipes, put red onions on your feet if you're sick. There's all these old school remedies that...
my grandma doesn't, she's so old school. My grandma's 89? And she drinks green tea and unsweet tea. She won't drink sweet tea. Everything she eats is from her garden. She makes her own jelly, anything you can think of, she's got, and she's cutting it up and
that's the way to go. I think that's really
everything in her kitchen. I don't know how many mason jars she's got. I'm like, oh my gosh, her own pickles, everything.
That's the way to go. Yeah. I mean, if you could do it, people kind of got away from that. Even growing up, my family had a garden. All of our neighbors had gardens, fruit trees. Even that was in Chicago, and we had all that stuff, but. Now, how many people do you know with a garden? One person grows a squash and they're like, hey man, I grew a squash.
I don't even know how to grow a garden.
You plant it and then you water it.
But how do you get it all set up? My grandparents have a legit big garden. I'm like, how did you guys begin this? How do you start? And you got to work in it. It's not you just put a seed in and flower it and or water it and it just grows. You got to work hard at it.
You got to keep animals out of there. All right. What are we talking about? Let's take some voicemails. Well, let's take a break and I promise we'll take some voicemails when we come back.
Okay.
All All right. If you've been listening to our podcast, you know that we do dry January every single year. And nowadays is helping us get through that dry January. It's a THC drink that helps you be social in those situations where everybody else is drinking.
Jeff just had his during the Bears game.
That's right. I did.
And I love it because it's no calories, no regrets, and you don't feel bad the next day. No hangovers.
You're not giving up fun to chase your goals. You're just choosing a better way to do both.
So you can work hard, play smart, and you've earned it.
I love the taste. I love the flavor. I love the way it makes me feel. And like Jordan said, no regrets in the morning, no hangover. You get after chasing those dreams. So if you feel awkward in those social situations when you're not drinking, try Nowadays. We use it and you should too.
Visit trynowadays.com/togetherness to get 20% off your order. That's trynowadays.com/togetherness or use code Togetherness at checkout.
Drink responsibly. You must be 21 years or older.
Welcome back.
All right, just get to it before we get sidetracked on peroxide feet.
I do want to say, though, our hotline number 720-722-1082. So if you want to leave a voicemail, leave us your messiest stories. Okay, ready? The Bears.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, hang on.
That's how we got sidetracked.
Hi, Jeff and Jordan. Actually, this is applying to Jeff. No, the listeners did love to hear you talk about the Bears. Us Chicago fans, and on this plate, I moved to Florida. But the pain we've gone through with the Packers and the Bears all these years, man, it was crazy here, too. I loved hearing about your opinion on the Bears, and now we're in the playoffs for sure. Bye.
All right, that was an older one, so I appreciate it. Yeah, people are excited about the Bears. I gave my opinion already, so we jumped the gun. But yeah, I'm happy. It was a great season. I'm excited for the future for the Bears.
The Panthers did good, too.
They made the playoffs.
I'm shocked.
Yeah,
Panthers
me too.
Haven't been good at all. Okay, hang on.
Hey guys, this is Jackie calling from Chicago, and I broke dry January, but for a reason I think Jeff will like. Because the Bears won their first playoff game! Let's go Bears!
Oh, I love that people
Did she say she broke dry January?
Because the Bears are in the playoffs.
This was hard because so many people are, partying, and I get, sports is kind of like, I don't know, I guess anything that's popular on television, like I remember being on Big Brother and it brought a lot of our, my family together, your family together. It brings people together. Sports do the same thing, right? You cheer for your hometown team. A lot of people leave. They're all over the country, but you still have that in common. So I was getting so many text messages, like thousands of text messages, like, oh my God, the Bears, from people in California, from New York, my buddies in Chicago, of course, my work friends, just so many people texting me. But it brings people together. So it makes people happy. But this was tough because I'm like, man, I would love to have a drink and celebrate, or like this past, when they lost, I'm like, man, I'd love to have a beer and just chill out,
Smash something.
Yeah, just smash a beer and drown my sorrows.
Well, speaking of football, going back to that, who's the kid from Indiana that won the Heisman?
Oh, yeah, Fernando Mendoza.
I don't know nothing about him, but
congratulations, Hoosiers, your first championship.
That's amazing. That makes me want to cry, and how he loves his mom.
Oh, yeah, his mom, yeah.
It's so
got MS.
cute. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you guys don't know, I'm sure a lot of you do. Sorry, this is all like football orientated, but it's football season. But if you don't know the story of the kid from Fernando Mendoza from Indiana, he grew up like 15 minutes away from where they play, the Miami Hurricanes, from Miami Stadium, or the university, one or the other. He tried to walk on Miami Hurricanes. They denied him. They didn't let him on the team. They said he wasn't good enough. Went to a different team and eventually ended up in Indiana speak about like destiny. Yeah. You know what I mean? Ended up winning the national championship. And then he won the Heisman. I'm sorry, did that reverse. He won the Heisman, then won the national championship against a team that wouldn't let him on the team. I mean, talk about drive. Talk about like destiny and like, I'm going to play in that stadium where I grew up wanting to play, but this team didn't want me on. Now I made my way back and now I'm playing the team that didn't let me on. Like they didn't dig deep enough into that story. I mean, that's like a movie of the week, Lifetime movie, like a Rudy type situation.
I know.
And his little brother's on the team too.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's like the third string quarterback. So it's like the whole family, his mom and dad both went to Miami.
That's a good
It's like
story.
that story is, they didn't exploit it enough. That's a good story.
I love when people win.
But anyways, it's such an amazing story with that kid, just like, I don't know. It's all those days in the workout room and, all that work he put in when nobody's watching. Mm-hmm. It's probably that was in his head. Like, the national championship where it's going to be. And he's like, this year it's going to be in Miami. And Indiana had no chance. If you bet on Indiana at the beginning of this year, you put $100 down, you would have won a shit ton of money.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They've never won a championship ever. This was their first one. Ever. Yeah. Never.
Oh, that makes
they had 10 wins last year. I think so. I think they had 10 wins. But nobody picked them to win the national championship. Nobody. So it was a fairy tale season. So hats off to the Hoosiers.
I love that. And I love how he loves just how he talks to his mom and they just seem like a loving family. Okay. Sorry. Okay. This is private school. Oh no.
Hey, Jess and Jordan. It's Ruth here from Houston, Texas. I just wanted to say I love y'all's show and I love the banter between both of y'all and the different opinions. I just finished listening to the episode about private schools and I did just want to maybe help y'all understand that I was also against private school until my daughter went to a public elementary school. And I think in elementary, they got rid of spelling and they changed everything ever since COVID. And my daughter could not spell. And I reached out to the teacher. They did not reply to me at all. And so at that moment, I think my parents and I both had a talk and we decided to put her in private school. And it was stretching us a bit financially, but just because it was better education. Because in Houston, the public schools are not that good. It's so hard to even find a good one. And then now I actually was able to move into a better area with a better public school system. So for high school, she'll hopefully go there. But right now she's still in private and I've enjoyed it because the teachers, they reach out to you more. They're more attentive. They actually act like they care about all of your children. And so anyways, that's just a little insight for y'all. Thank you. Bye.
I like somebody calling, like saying this, like something we talked about.
Yeah, we need more like pushback. Yeah. I like that.
I like that a lot.
Big guy.
SpongeBob makes it. I don't even know.
Sorry. My son plays this SpongeBob thing, big guy. And he does a dance to it. So now he's just doing it into my head. What was that?
Ruth.
Ruth, thanks for, first of all, leaving us a message. I totally understand where you're coming from. And I love, like, it wasn't pushback, but I like it to challenge, like, the way we think. And I think that's where, like, the conversation comes in.
Yeah.
Where you're from, if that school system is up to par in your eyes, whatever that means in your eyes, then you have to make adjustments. We got lucky in our public school.
The reason we moved over here is because the public schools were good. That's the reason I looked out here.
Yeah. And I'll, again, shout out. I know some of the teachers at my son's school. Listen, shout out to all you guys. You guys are you communicate with us. You let us know what's going on. I think the education, they've really helped us. Our kids struggled in the beginning and I feel like they're on track. So whatever you think is the right decision is the right decision. If we were in your situation in Houston and they weren't teaching spelling and arithmetic, what the hell are you talking about? Of course I'm pulling them out of there and I'd have to scratch some pennies together and put them in where they are getting an education. I think that's a big problem. I think where you live in the United States really has a big impact on how the education system works in your particular area. So you have to do what you have to do. So I'm totally not against private school. I just think, like, in our area, I don't know. Maybe it's like a stigma that, like, people who go to private school are the yuppies, like with their polo shirts up. Obviously that's just a stigma.
My brother was that kid.
But you know what I mean? That's kind of like a movie stereotype that
My
you see.
brother used to pop his collar up and he had shaggy hair. He was the total Southern private school kid that you can think of with the khakis and the loafers.
But I don't think that's every private school
No,
across
it's not
the whole United States. I just think it's a stereotype that you have. But again, I like that. Yeah, sometimes, listen, we have opinions on everything, and sometimes we share them. Sometimes we keep them to ourselves just to not upset people.
No, I have friends that have kids in private schools and they love it. But for us, like, it works.
Yeah, you got to do what works for you. So I'm glad you're doing what works for you, because not teaching spelling and just the basics. I don't think, I could go down this rabbit hole about how I feel about universities now and what they're teaching and what core curriculum is. I don't think anyone's learning about history, or I don't even know if they teach cursive anymore, if there's a need for that. But our kids are still young. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I don't like certain agendas that they're pushing at certain universities and things like that. So when we come to when we cross that bridge, if they do want to go to college, I'm really going to look in to see like what their values are and what they're looking to get out of their students, because I think that's something I do think about, like, for the future. I don't want an agenda being pushed. I want them to further their education if I'm paying that much money for them to go to college.
Yeah. I always think when I was younger that I didn't even care. I just if I went to college, I just want to go for the boys and to party.
That's like an expensive party. That's an expensive party.
That was like my whole thing. I was about to say something big sexy. It's totally big sexy, like selling something. A family member of his was like dean of admissions at this one college. My dad's like, I think I could get you in over there. And it's like a huge party school. And I was like, okay. But I just I didn't care
Which
about
school?
that. I'm not going to share.
You can't share what school?
No, I'm not going to share.
All right. What a loser.
But anyways, it just makes me laugh because I was like, my dad totally would be that parent calling. I don't even know who this family member was. It was maybe like a cousin's cousin. I have no idea. But yeah, I could just totally see my dad walking in there and selling it.
And just getting you into college?
And getting me in just because. But I think by the time I graduated, they retired or something like that. But yeah, I would have failed out so fast. Because
I just don't even know like what the curriculum is. I don't know.
Well, you went to college, so you know you have like an experience. I don't have an experience because I went to hair school.
Yeah, my college was, I kind of, what I learned.
Was it small, like a community college?
Yeah, but a little bigger than a community. Like I lived on campus, Division III football. I went to college specifically just to play football because I wanted to play and then kind of figure out what I wanted to do along the way.
But even like your degree, what you graduated in, you've never even used it.
No, it was a marketing degree. When I got my degree where I finally went into what I wanted to do, I thought I was going to be making like cereal boxes and like creating things.
Yeah, that's what I picture, like marketing.
Yeah, so did I. No, apparently it's not. It's not marketing. It's like something else. It's called something else.
So if you could go back and if you could change anything, what would you change your major to, or would you have not changed your major?
I probably would have went to school for like broadcasting, communications, got into the arts a little bit more. Yeah, instead of going the business side. I just thought like, hey, I could do the business side. I think that'll be easy. I'm better with numbers. And then there was macroeconomics and microeconomics. I'm like, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
Why didn't you do finance like your brother? Isn't your brother finance?
Yeah, my brother. Yeah, because I'm not smart. I'm talking about like getting an education. I was the idiot. C's get degrees was my philosophy. And I didn't care. I really didn't. I didn't care.
I don't think grades really matter. I think if you have common sense.
So I had common sense. And I think teachers saw something in me. I just didn't apply myself. And I think my parents would agree, But after a certain point, you look back and you're like, if I just would have tried a little bit, you know what I mean? If you just apply yourself a little bit, that's all it takes. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm like, boys, like to our boys, listen, trust me, just 10 or 15 minutes every day. We're not asking you to go crazy. Just apply yourself for 10, 15 minutes a day. It's going to change the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure my parents instilled that in me. I was just out of control. Like if I was born today, I would be on medication, that's how wild I was. And now everyone's pushing. That wasn't the thing back then. But what I'm trying to get at, what I learned from like college is like you go away, you live on your own. And I got to learn, the teachers didn't care. They're like, the difference between high school and college is if you don't want to try or don't want to apply yourself, I'm not your babysitter. Fail. I don't care if you fail. You know? So that was like the college. And I learned that quick too. I woke up and I was like, if I don't try, I can't play football anymore. So I have to try. So what I would do was I wasn't really understanding a lot of the terms and things like that with the economic classes I was in. And I would go stay after school, after class. And I knew they didn't really want to stay. I'm like, listen, could you give me like 10 minutes and kind of break down some of these things? And they would, some of them would, but I would do, and I'd be like, hey, do you have another 10 minutes to stay? And I knew they had to go to a different class. So I learned like how to work them a little bit. So I'm like, I'm showing that I'm applying myself, even though I don't know what I'm talking about, that I'm willing to put in some extra time with them. So they're like, listen. And finally they got to a point like, listen, here's what you got to study. This is what's going to be on the test. You got to do this. I know you're trying your best. So look, and then I got a personal relationship with my professors in the classes that I was having trouble with. So all I showed was like 10 minutes stay after class, apply myself a little bit, show them that I care and show that I'm applying myself, show up on time for their class, respect their time. And I passed. I don't know what the hell I passed in.
You don't give yourself enough credit. You are smart.
But I think I'm more
street smart.
Yeah, with a little common sense baked in.
That's me.
I'm by no means getting, I don't even know what's a perfect score on an ACT or SAT. I don't even know.
Isn't it 1,600 or 1,500?
I think it is.
It's something like that.
Because I think
most people get like 1,200, 1,300, I feel like.
See, no, hold on. So I never is that the SAT? What's the one?
Wait, ACT, isn't it like a score of 20?
Yeah, because I had to get like an 18 to get into college.
Oh.
So like you got to pass.
Why do you pick, what do you?
I don't know. I think it's the area you live in.
Wait, I have a story.
We're two morons. We're talking about education and we're two idiots.
I have a story. So I was in high school, and in high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to do maybe like dental hygiene, but I really wasn't sure. But I really wanted to, like, after high school, just take off. And I didn't want to go to school because I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And I worked for my dad's friend, and that really helped me figure out, okay, I do not want to work at this dentist office, right? And but my mom and dad were like, you have to go. And so I went. And so the first like semester, I was just like partying and like not doing my work. And I didn't even drop out of the classes. And so I was like, I don't care. I'm never coming back here. I got like all Fs, I think. And I didn't even drop. And that's on your transcript, right? So I was very immature. But going back to high school, I told my mom, I was like, I'm going to sign up and I'm going to take the SAT. And my mom's like, why? And I'm like, I don't know. I just want to see if I can pass. She's like, did you study? I was like, no, I'm just showing up. And I showed up to take the SAT. Every student is just like, has these sample things and studying. Everybody looks stressed out. And I'm just like, hi. And like show up and sit down. I'm like, okay. First question, I'm like, I don't even know what the answer is. I'm like, what is this crap? And so I'm like flipping through the page because you have to circle like A, B, C, D. And I'm like, this is stupid. So then I was like, whatever. And I just start circling everything. And I was the first one done. And I just turned my paper and I was like, okay, thank you. And I left. And I think I got like a 400 or something, or like 500, because I didn't even care. I was just like, whatever. I just wanted to see what it was like.
See, that stresses me out. No,
but I had no desire to go. If it was something like where I really wanted to like get in school.
Yeah.
But like for me, it wasn't something I was passionate about. I always felt like, when you always feel like inside there's something else for you, like you're not supposed to take the traditional route. And everything in my life has been non-traditional. I didn't get married and have a baby after marriage. Like I got pregnant before I got married. We didn't mean to do that way, but nothing I've done in my life is traditional.
Yeah, and that's okay too.
And I think that is
for everybody.
Okay.
You know
and
what I
think
mean?
as long as you work hard, all my employers all of them say like I was such a good worker. And that is one thing I take pride in. Every person I work for, I was always really good at. But then when I got serious about school, I did sign up and go back to the community college, but I was older. I would think I was like 23 and I went back. And then I remember seeing those transcripts that they gave me, and it was like all the F's because I didn't drop out of those classes. And I remember feeling embarrassed and feeling like that was so dumb. That was like 18-year-old Jordan thinking and just being immature and stupid.
Yeah.
And I was like, why did I do that? And then when I went back, I really worked hard and I studied and I got like all A's and B's. And there were some classes I was like, I can't believe that was a really hard class and I got a B in it. And I was very proud of myself, but I applied myself. But it's just, I always think about the kids because I always see people around me and their kids, like everybody's going off to school somewhere. And I'm like, what if the kid doesn't want to go? Like, what if our kids don't want to go? Am I going to like make them, or are they going to waste our money and fail out and be immature like I was?
Well, that's the whole thing. I want them to learn to not go through what we went through. You know what I mean? I don't want them to fall on their face, which you have to.
You do.
You got to let them fall on their face at some point. But when it comes to schooling, it's like, it's so easy, just apply yourself. If you show just like I did in college, just show up on time. Number one, this is just life. Show up on time, apply yourself, and respect the teacher's time. When I was like in high school and grammar school, I thought the teachers like lived in a closet. I didn't think they were real people. Not high school, but when I was young, I'm like, you went out to dinner? Like, I didn't even understand the concept that they had a life outside teaching. You know what I mean? That's when I remember that light bulb moment. I was like in grammar school and I'm like, wait, this person's a person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't even think they had lives. I thought their whole life was being a teacher. Do you know what I mean? But then I learned, I'm like, they're just doing what they love to do or what they want to do, and just respect what they do. Apply yourself just a tiny bit and you'll pass. You'll get through. And if you apply yourself even more and show interest or want interest in that, you'll succeed. You'll soar. So I want them to learn that lesson. Like, I know you signed up for soccer and you don't like it, but you got to finish.
Right.
You got to show up on time. You got to finish. I don't care if you never score a goal or you never play, but you got to go there, respect your teammates, respect your coach. And then when you're done, you can move on to something else. But I want them to learn that lesson. Like learn how to read, learn how to spell. I still have trouble with reading. I still have trouble with spelling. If you learn that at an early age, like right now with those boys, they'll have that forever.
I work on spelling with Lawson and with Leighton, and then like help Lawson with his math. And with spelling, Lawson struggles a little bit with spelling. And so he would get really defeated and start crying. And once I told him, I go, listen, I'm proud of you no matter what. All I ask of you is that, all we ask of you is that you try. I go, if you're going in and you're missing 14 of your spelling words, you're not trying. I go, but if you go in and when we're working on it and I'm through the week, you and I are, and you're missing at first like 7, and then we keep continuing to work on it. Now you're only missing 3, then you get 100, Yeah. I told Lawson, I go, that is all I care about. I go, you don't have to be perfect. I'm not begging you to make hundreds. I go, if you miss a couple, that's fine because I know how hard you've been working. But if I know when you and I are working together, if you're not trying, that's when I don't like it. That's when I get mad. And ever since I told him that, he's like, we'll miss like 1, 2, maybe 3. And he's been doing so good. And he's not, before it was like, I missed 4, and he would come in and cry and be so upset. And I'm like, it's 3rd grade, And I was like, Lawson, I'm proud of you. There were 15 spelling words. It's okay. I go, I know you tried. Next week, we're going to try again, and we're going to continue to work on these. And then he has to do his times tables, and they do like 3s or 4s every week. And then they have to get it in 30 seconds or under. And then they pass and they move on to the next number. So he couldn't, the force he was getting stumped on. And I told him we would sit and I would time him, and I'm like, at home you're getting it. What's wrong? Are you getting nervous? Are you getting fumbled? He's like, I don't know. And then it's like once I started like hugging him, encouraging him, and telling him, I'm not mad at you. You don't have to be perfect. It's okay if you don't pass it the first time, because you will pass. He is doing so much better.
And then the joy they feel when they get 100 and they get in the car and they're like, look at 100. Like, I want them to know the difference between like, do you know why you got 100? Because we studied 10 minutes for 5 days every day this week. And that's why you got 100. When you didn't put in the time, you failed. Right. That is like the basis of life. I want them to learn that early. You know, like, listen, I failed that test. You know why? Because I didn't study. I want them to learn that, not in college like I did. I want them to learn early. And when I do put in time, I succeed. So that could be in sports, that could be in art, that could be in spelling tests, whatever it is. Understand that. Put in your time, respect the other person's time, show up on time, and you will succeed in life. But
you never really, when I was younger, I never understood, like when my mom's like, don't do what I did, my mistake.
I know, I'm such a dad.
And then
I know.
I am like, now in my head, it's like, you get it, because I don't want the boys to be like immature and stupid like I was when I was 18.
You like sleeping around?
No, I was never into sex.
I'm just joking. All right,
I just wanted to slept with 2 people.
I know. I just wanted to make a joke.
How many of you slept with?
2. All right, guys. I told you I wasn't good at school. We're getting out of here.
You were probably good at something else.
Class is dismissed. No more questions. We'll see you guys next week. And give that number again, just one more time. Call in. We love hearing from you guys. And you know what? If there's something that you don't like about the episode, call in and let us know. And we'll give it back to you a little bit on one of these podcasts.
Hang on. Oh, wait, what am I doing?
You're looking at Instagram.
No, my brother, he's like a news reporter. He sends me all this information stuff, and I'm like, how do you find this stuff, and why are you sending it to me?
Read the number.
Okay, the number is 720-722-1082.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye. Oh, we didn't do the quote.
Oh, quote it up. Quote it up. We're still here. The music's playing. When you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. That's what the storm is all about. Mm-hmm. Another life lesson.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, it is, because it's
true.
For
what we were talking about.
Okay, now class is dismissed.